Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Train to Busan presents Peninsula, a.k.a. Train to Busan 2, a.k.a. Peninsula, the follow-up film from Yeon Sang-ho, or Sang-ho Yeon. I don't know in which order those names should be pronounced. Same director and writer as the original film, Train to Busan, zombie film, Korean film. I loved Train to Busan. I felt a new take on zombie movies. The zombies have like kind of an updated kind of feel and look. And the story, just by virtue, I'm sure, of being a Korean film, had different type of writing and storytelling and characters than most, I would say, zombie movies in the U.S. Just very interesting characters, very unorthodox leads and side characters and things that happen. Really enjoyed it. So I was looking forward to this film coming out, and it finally did. It's on video on demand, and I purchased it, blind bought it, because that's how much I love the first one. Despite this one seemingly to be rated lower, I bought it anyway. And I could tell why. Immediately after turning this movie on, I could tell why it's rated lower. Because there is the first 20 minutes of this movie, there is just an unnecessary amount of English speaking in this movie. And I don't know if it's like them trying to kind of appeal to an English-speaking audience more. But as somebody who is an English-speaking audience, I hated it. Because most of the movie is still in Korean, and I don't mind reading a good movie. Like, I've been watching a lot of foreign horror movies, and I'm perfectly okay. There's not a whole lot of dialogue necessarily that happens in horror movies. So having to listen to, one, bad English actors, like just the actors who speak English natively, horrible actors. Then they have characters who are clear, like Asian characters who have thick accents when speaking in English. So it's clear that English is like their second language, that they know good enough to get through the lines, but just like painful to listen to because their accent is so thick. Like, easily they could have just been speaking in their native language and give me subtitles, which the subtitles are there for the whole thing. Like, you're not just getting the subtitles for Korean, you're getting subtitles for Korean and English, and there's characters that go in and out of speaking English, which makes it confusing. It's just like the first 20 minutes of this movie made me like feel like this franchise took a gigantic turn into B-movie territory. And thankfully, after the movie gets going, they get rid of that. Until the very end of the movie, there's some more English-speaking moments, which I thought was stupid as well. During like this heartfelt ending of the movie, like there's like this English, they bring back the English dialogue, and it's just like bad acting. Versus everything else is amazing. So the plot of this one takes place 4 years after the zombie apocalypse hits South Korea. South Korea's been locked down. Everything outside of Korea is still normal, but they had to lock things down. The outbreak was too much for them to contain. So it takes place 4 years after. I believe it's all new characters. The end of the first one, there's only a couple characters that survive, and I do not believe they are part of this. I could be wrong, though. I could be very wrong. But I believe that there's new characters, which I love all the characters, whether they are from the previous film or not. I love all the characters that are in this. It starts off almost like Three Kings, where it's like these guys who are in Hong Kong want to go into Korea to steal money. The Korea's been shut down because it's a zombie wasteland. It's like post-apocalyptic in Korea, but there's still money there that does zombies no good. So it's like, let's go do it. So it has like this kind of, which I thought was going to be more of a Three Kings kind of a premise, them going in to go, do this heist in what could be a war zone. But that's just the kind of the premise to get these characters into Korea, which there's already, people still living in Korea in this like post-apocalyptic, like Mad Max kind of a lifestyle. There's people who are on their own, who aren't necessarily part of this kind of these communities. And it turns into like this really fun action movie. There's really fun action moments. I mean, the first one, they had a lot of action moments, like a lot of intense moments because you are dealing with zombies, but also like many zombie movies, after enough time, you realize that humans are still the most dangerous thing to other humans. Humans love to devolve into murdering other humans. And a lot of zombie, whether you're watching like The Walking Dead or you're watching this, it's very, very easy that they're bad guys, right? Because they're just trying to survive and do the thing and like scavenge, and they're stuck in a reality that's no good. And it's people who love, like lazy people love power and love controlling other humans to do their shit. And generally lazy people who love power aren't the most pleasant people. But yeah, once this movie gets going, amazing. There's some amazing car chase scenes. There's some new characters. It's like this family with two young daughters. The two young daughters are badass. Actually kind of reminded me of the movie Kick-Ass, where you have a very strong young female lead who's in like an action movie role. You have two young sisters who are very much badass in their own way. It's two sisters, their mom and their grandpa are kind of on their own, but they have their John Wick training, right? They may be on their own, but they're not weak. They're not vulnerable. They're surviving and thriving in this kind of post-apocalyptic world that also has zombies. But yeah, just amazing amazing action moments. The end of the movie is really good. It's very heartwarming ending to this film, where it's like even up till the end of the film, like the way you think things are going, there's still a chance. Like there's in times where it could have just been ended and it could have had like this sad ending, or this open-ended ending, I guess you could potentially say. Like the way things wrap up is kind of satisfying. But I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Aside from the first 20 minutes of this movie that were just unnecessary, horrible, just poor English acting, horrible English actors. You have characters that have no reason to be speaking English. There's no need. There's nothing in this story or plot or script that would require anybody to speak English ever. So the fact that they hired people to do it badly just really took it down a notch. But once everything gets going, once they get into Korea, once they try to the kind of the things start unfolding, then it's just a badass movie. It's a badass movie. Yeah, I really did enjoy it. So it's sad. I would imagine most of the bad ratings for this movie are due to that first 20 minutes and even the very last scene, the elements of that one character speaking English for no reason. Nobody needs to. There is no need. It's not like the U.S. military. I mean, there is one U.S. military guy that's one of the horrible English speaking actors in the beginning of the movie. They don't need to have U.S. military there. They could have military from any other country that could still speak Korean, considering they are, in a place that speaks Korean. Like, a lot of the times military people have soldiers that speak the language, and you could have just had actors speak Korean the entire film, and you would have had better acting, and it wouldn't have been like this thing that so many movies do, where I don't know if this is it, but it really feels like they're just trying to placate to an American audience. Like when you have these American action movies and they have these like unnecessary, like there's always a Chinese character in there. There's always, and they're usually not a big or meaningful character in the story, but they are there to try and sell to China. They're there to try and placate to the Chinese, to get them in the theater, to make them think that this is a movie that's for them. And it's just keep your shit, make good art. Stop trying to like engineer good things into worse things in order to make more money. Like that's, but once it gets going. So it's interesting that usually it would be a different director, different writers. Sometimes if sequels that studios have eminent control over, they generally devolve franchises into just horrible things. So if there is another movie, which I could completely understand coming out, I enjoy this franchise so far. I'm really loving it. I hope they. I mean, if you're gonna write in English speaking characters, at least get good actors. Like if you're gonna do it, like make sure those people can deliver the lines well. It's not like you're getting people that are acting in Korean that can't act. It's just a weird juxtaposition from the first 20 minutes of this film to the rest of it. But I really enjoyed it. So check it out. Video on demand. I got it on iTunes, but I'm sure it's everywhere else, or Apple Movies or whatever you call it. Train to Busan presents Peninsula. Check it out. Make sure you support or sponsor Ting and get yourself $25 in credit by going through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. Ting is a cell phone service that has great service all over the place. They use all the major networks to perform their service, but you only pay for what you use. So if you're at home, you're on Wi-Fi all the time, you're going to have extremely low monthly bills. So get yourself $25 in credit to either buy yourself a new phone or bring your old phone over and save money starting now. Use my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!